I think one of the fundamental aspects of innovation and any policy matter that any country can look at, I think stems from the education system in the country. They developed systems and procedures to start looking at innovation which was far ahead of their times. So they became innovation backed economies. Now in India, we are still talking about 2.0 and 3.0. Yes, from a policy as well as vision perspective, we have a fantastic Prime Minister who's actually talking future. But how many of us are practicing future? We are still very much engaged in ad hoc matters today that, okay, let us get this thing in order and move on. So the first example that I'd like to look at, Manoj, very much is Germany. Although it's a developed economy, there are lots of things to be learned from them. Second case study that I'd look at possibly is South Korea. Now, war-ravaged country in the early 90s. We talked about the tiger economies crisis also, which kind of came in a bit late. No natural resources, zilch. And what did they start to do? They created a center-aided research institution, which was to ensure that there was incubation and innovation started happening at an early stage. And the so-called developing conglomerates of South Korea were told that please innovate in your own form and format to impart skill training. So an institution gives education, the industry imparts training and skill development. I think these are more important at this stage for India because we are talking about Make in India, great, it's a great banner, it's something that we surely will develop in course of time, but there is still very improper thought in terms of how is it that we are going to deliver. You're talking about, suppose we have 1 lakh or 2 lakh people. I was in a conference the other day on skill development. You have 2 lakh people who suddenly come into jobs. We don't have skills. You want people to work on automated machines, you don't have those skills. Our ITIs do not have the capability to teach factory workers about such skills. You will get investments and you will not be able to move on. And then we'll make a mockery of our own system. And the Prime Minister wonderfully will go to all countries and say, please come and make in India. And someone comes to India and says, how do I make? I don't even know. You don't even seem to have the people. You have the brains. You have fantastic brains because most of the brains are employed in my own organizations in the US, in the UK, and many other parts of the globe. But where is the person who's going to do the job on the ground? So that would be, I think, as an example, to pick something from South Korea. No comparison is complete without having a look at the United States. So if you look at Chicago, which developed an industrial cluster, numbers available for everyone, employs about nearly 5.8 lakh people. The people in the cluster get paid 27% additional money as compared to any other cluster in the country. 85% of the innovation happens from that cluster for the region. 2/3 of the exports of the region come from the industry cluster. And most importantly, every manufacturing job gives an additional 2 more jobs because it's a cluster setup. Now coming back to how do these things translate into Make in India? First of all, development of industry clusters. Yes, you're trying to develop industry clusters. You're talking about the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. Great plans. Everything seems to be in order. But, okay, one innovation or one simple innovation suggestion. We have 41 universities in this country. Is any university accredited to a particular industrial cluster? No. Everyone works in their own form and format. Everyone teaches arts. Everyone teaches economics. Everyone teaches commerce, everyone teaches physics, everyone teaches biology, everyone teaches botany, but no one focuses on a certain sector. So pick up an industrial cluster, say that I will be the anchor university. If I am a Bandara Sindhu University, for example, operating out of Varanasi, create a cluster there, I will support that cluster. And most of my innovation will be in that cluster only. I do not want to do everything else. If all of our 41 universities start doing this, we will have a sea change in the way we approach industrial clusters. That would be my first recommendation. Second recommendation, we say that yes, we want to make in India. There are lots of, obviously we want to get a lot of the, innovations and, studies that were undertaken by foreign universities. There is a, proposed foreign education institution bill, which is still pending in Parliament. So today if a Stanford University comes and says that I want to set shop in India, we will not allow it. Knowing very well that those institutions, on the backing of people who are largely Indians, have developed technology and innovation, but we will not allow them to operate out of our country because our systems are such. create competition. Someone was saying in the previous session was on competitiveness. This is how we create competitiveness. We beautifully opened our country in 1991, but I think the education system and the innovation system are still way too close for my liking. That would be my second very, very strong recommendation. Third would be on skill development, which is yet again something which needs to be worked upon from a policy standpoint. I think we have to make it easier for people to come up with, let's say, national manufacturing institutes in the US, or let's say catapult centers in the Netherlands. We have to make it easier for people to set up such centers, which could be done in PPP mode. But the idea is to create policy for such skill development parameters, which I think will go a long way in improving